I'm going to show you how to recreate this 70s sci-fi aesthetic in Blender. It's not really a Blender thing, it's mostly post-production, but you have to start in Blender. So I have these balls in Blender. I applied metallic material, so metallic is 1, roughness is 0, the color is just white, and everything looks black. Now add the world, add new, color, and add the sky, Nishida sky, and this is white. I want to make it black, so duplicate the background node and mix it with the shader with the sky, and add the light path node and connect the east camera ray to the factor. So what is going on here is the camera sees the gray background, but these are still reflect the environment around them. But if you flip it, they're gonna reflect the gray and we see the white background, so the sky. But flip it back and make this black, so strength is 0. Let's tweak the sky texture. Disable sun disk, we don't want that. And I wrote down what my settings are, but I'm gonna show you what these things are doing. So altitude is gonna be 500 and we don't need that much air. Let's turn this down a bit. You see, it already looks cooler, spacey, and crank up the ozone like so, and it looks even better. So there's the sun rotation. You can rotate the sun with that, and sun elevation. Yep, you see it's right there. I think it looks cool there. If you crank up this dust, the sun size will be bigger because there's more dust in the air that can absorb the sun's light. Oh, by the way, yours probably look like this. So you see, I disabled the glassy ray visibility, so they don't show up in glassy surfaces. So I disabled that to every ball, and now you can change these settings, whatever, do whatever you want, and let's render it out. Cycles, view transform is filmic, and maximum samples is 512. So F12, render this out. And you see, this is a really basic thing inside Blender, but the heavy lifting is in post-production. So, okay, it's done. Save it with Alt-S and create a new folder and put it here. PNG, RGB, and save image. Okay, let's apply some glare. So search for glare and put it here. Let's view it with the viewer. And you see you have some cool streaks going on. To make it cooler, set this to low so it's bigger. The streaks are longer. We don't need color modulation. Threshold is 1.2, so there's less streaks, and you can set how many streaks you want. I want 4. Angle offset, you see it's pretty obvious what it's doing. Yeah, I think it looks good. Crank up the mix to 1. If it's 1, the streaks are showing. If it's 0 or -1, you can see the original render. So set this to +1 and save this. We save it separately so we can change them change the opacity separately, so it's easier to work in this way. Add another glare node. Let's detach this. Add or duplicate this glare node. And change this to fog glow, and change this back to 0, so we see how it's looking. Change this to medium because it looks better a bit, and this to 0.6 maybe. We have some glow, and crank this up and save it separately, or glow RGB and save image. Okay, let's hop into Photoshop and add the balls here, the glow, enter, and the streaks, but everything is on top of each other. So to make the black transparent, change the blending mode to screen and this one, and you see the balls as well. Okay, so add another cool thing, rename this to balls, and hit Ctrl J to duplicate this layer, and change the filter to convert for smart filters. If you do that, you can go back to you can change the filters anytime. So Gaussian blur, I think it looks cool. And to make this part invisible, change the blending mode to lighten, and it only shows like this. So yeah, add some noise to it, to the balls. Set this to balls blur, and filter converts for smart filters, and filter camera raw filter. Add some grain, and change these settings. You can go with this look or this one. I'm gonna go with this. Okay, and now it looks better. Let's apply this to all of the things here. So add this noise to the balls blur with hold down Alt and drag and drop these circles to here. You see it's applied, and apply this to the glow and the streaks as well. Okay, and we have some nice glowing objects, and let's add some grain to the black part. Download some free dust textures from the internet, and add your noise. Put this here and change the blending mode, put it on top of everything, and change the blending mode to screen. Now it's visible. Let's make this grain blue. So select the color, click on here and select, for example, this blue, and like it can be like that kind of blue. Okay, add it and click on this thing and hue saturation. If you click on colorize, it uses the color that you selected, so this blue color, and it colorizes it, but it colorizes the whole image. I don't want that, so click on this thing, so it applies only to the underlying layer, and you can change the hue, so, and the saturation as well. I think it looks cool, maybe less saturated. Add another, just a random texture, so there's more depth to the image. Scale this up a bit and change this to screen. Now it's too much, we're gonna change that as well. So if if you want to apply this hue saturation adjustment to these two layers, then go back, so click on this one and hit Ctrl J, put them in a group, so these two noise, and now they are in a group, and if you click on this one, it only applies to the group. You don't see anything, so click on the group and not pass through. Change this to screen, and there you go. This noise looks a bit too much, so turn this down a bit so it looks better. Okay, now tweak the bowl settings, so add levels to this original bowl. Add levels and blow out this white area, because that's a thing in this aesthetic, to blow out things. Blow this out, and it's a bit too much, and that's cool. And on top of the streaks, on top of this whole bowl thing, add a curves adjustment layer and make the white a gray, so it looks more vintage. And another coolness is put a point here and also here, and you see this cool effect. I know it's too much, but it's just a small, it looks cool, it looks better, you know? The color is more separated in this way. Let's add the vibrance, so it looks less vibrant. Now it looks more vintage. One last thing, so go to the curves, click on that and grab this value and the black value, make it a bit grayer, yeah. And that's pretty much it. I hope you liked it. Bye.